Strange Spirits That I Have Known. William Hovey Smith, 2013. I'm the author of Backyard Deer Hunting, and I often have something to drink with my meals.
This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman. And I would like to tell you about some strange spirits that I have known. Now, on the table in front of me are a few bottles, some empty, some partially so. Well, these represent some of the things that I have drunk in the past 70-odd years. Now, there are many others that are not available to me right at this moment, and we'll talk about some of those too. Man's desire for alcohol goes back to primitive times indeed, and produced in very primitive fashions. In fact, it was very early found out, thousands of years ago, that almost anything could be made to ferment and would produce alcohol and would taste pretty good if you drank it. Yeah! Even today in Amazonia, there is such a thing as a sipopo pot. And what this is a fermentation vessel. Women chew sugarcane and spit it into the pot. And water is added, and this is allowed to ferment in this pot that is lined with pitch, and a beer is produced which is consumed. Now, this is a pretty primitive way to produce alcohol. And if you want to see it, Sean Connery had a movie called Medicine Man, where you can actually see one in action.
This is a sipopo pot made by indigenous tribes in the Amazon jungle of Peru.
Now, we have something of a more modern representative of that here. And this is agavero. It is produced from the agave plant. It is to tequila as drambuie is to scotch. This is a liqueur and is a sweet tasting drink, well, like you would expect if you were going to get a liqueur. Well, almost every culture has produced some very harsh distilled products. Now, in Italy, they have grapes and stuff left over from the wine pressing. So this is fermented again, and whatever else happens to be available. And this is made in a product called grappa, G-R-A-P-P-A. This can be either white or red, and is a very strong tasting product. Now, when Europeans came to the United States, they found corn. And of course, they tried to ferment it. And well, what you got was what we in the South generally call white lightning, as typified here by this Shine On Georgia Moon, which is a bonded product that you can buy anywhere in North America. Now, I make a drink from that called a moon melon, in which watermelon slices are soaked in this and put in the freezer, and then when you need a cold, strong drink on a hot day, well, it's available. Almost anything, including cactus, can be used to make distilled spirits. And in fact, if you go to South Africa today, you can buy a product whose name escapes me at the moment that is so produced. It's pretty rank stuff. Now, when sugar was available, then you had the opportunity to make rums. These are supposedly identical products. And this is produced by a distiller in Louisiana. And these are made from local sugarcane in Louisiana. And they differ very greatly in quality, unfortunately. One is very excellent. It has a very nice, smooth, rounded taste, while the other is pretty rank. Well, they have a little quality control problems to contend with, like many startup businesses might have. And so at least one sort of batch got out that shouldn't have. The good stuff is very drinkable. The bad stuff, not so much. Okay. So we have thus far been talking about distilling from one single product. Now there are also rye whiskeys. Now this is a bottle of rye whiskey, which is Bullet Rye. And this is an American whiskey. It is made from straight rye. Well, some 95%, I think. So this is good stuff. And here is the front of the bottle, actually. Produced in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Not typically thought of as whiskey making country, but yeah, they may do. And rye whiskeys were more popular than bourbons before Prohibition. They're generally considered to be better drinking whiskeys. Now, blended whiskeys, like this George Dickel, is blended with rye, barley, and corn, all three grains. Okay, it's all distilled at the same time, but the products are blended. And so this gives a Tennessee sipping whiskey. Okay? And I particularly like and am fond of George Dickel. They also make a rye whiskey too, which is much harder to find. Okay? And we have another Tennessee whiskey here. And this is Gentleman Jack. And that has been filtered twice through charcoal, so it gives a little mellower taste to the whiskey. And one that most people will be familiar with, Crown Royal, Canadian whiskey. As it turns out, Crown Royal and George Dickel are actually owned by the same company. Now, wine sort of got the treatment too. And specialty wines are produced all over the world, sometimes sold for extremely high prices, sometimes put up in unusual and fancy bottles. This happens to be a fish wine, and its bottle is shaped like one of my favorite fish, the common European carp. And this is Pescivino, fish wine. Well, it's a fish-shaped bottle. Yeah. And what it tastes like is it's a white wine, and it tastes very much like the pear wine that I make. Now we have some other unusual wines. Mogan David here. Now this is a cream peppermint wine, if you can imagine such a thing. The price was marked down to 99 cents. Well, actually the product is better than that. It has a slight taste of butterscotch. It was a drinkable wine. Okay? And we come to specialty products indeed, like Southern Comfort, which is a blend of spirits and other things. So Southern Comfort has an unusual taste. Some people like it, some people don't. I happen to have stayed in Woodlawn, which is the plantation house shown here, and they make a Woodlawn punch. So if you're ever in southern Louisiana and going down the Mississippi along the levee, and you see a house that looks like this, yeah, you can stop in and have a picture of Woodlawn punch.
This is the old label traditionally used on Southern Comfort and a picture of Woodlawn Plantation that was used to model the label.
Indeed. Now they do the same thing in Europe. And this is Old Amsterdam, which is a famous spirit shop in Amsterdam. And this is their Beerenberger. And it has the taste of licorice. Very similar to Jägermeister. Yeah. And used for the same purposes. Jägermeister was originally designed to sort of settle the stomach after a meal. And for that, the licorice in it actually works. So if you have sort of a rumbly stomach, yeah, a little bit of Jägermeister or Beerenberg will do the job. But to drink it with shots, particularly after something like tequila, No, it just will make you sick. Now, this has been brought to you by one of my old radio sponsors, and that is Sin Incorporated. The industrial gas division of Sin, Synthetic Industrial Non-Nutritive Inks, is pleased to offer to the public Puke Vodka. Puke Vodka is now available not only in tank cars and in 55-gallon drums, but now in 5-gallon pails for home delivery. And you may order either the high solids or the low solids version with all the taste, smells, and flavors associated with the product's name. Yeah! There's no sense in wasting all this time getting drunk and going through the process if you're going to wind up worshiping before the porcelain throne. So with Puke Vodka, you eliminate all these steps and you get straight to the heart of the matter and enjoy your drinking experience. But now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be safe, be ethical. Goodbye, God bless, and see you next time.
Besides being the author of Backyard Deer Hunting, I have other prize-winning books including Extreme Muzzleloading, Crossbow Hunting, and Practical Bow Fishing. I have a series of 8 books on muzzleloading in 2013, 2014, and the most recent title is Hunting Big and Small Game with Muzzleloading Pistols. Drinking the world's spirits is an interesting process. However, always drink in moderation. For more information on my books, blogs, and more than 290 videos, go to my website, www.hoveysmith.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye, and God bless.